like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Hello darlings. Okay, I have the microphone as close as I can get it without constantly hitting it. And we're going to just show you what we finished this week, what we're going to work on, or try to work on. Try to fix. Okay, I also feel like I'm a little bit too low in carbs or sugar, so I brought some cookies over. I'm not usually much into sweets. I seem to occasionally have binges of needing some cookies or a cake or something. Usually I'll just make one. I had one cookie and it was like, okay, that's enough sugar. And taped the package back up and put it away. So these are just, it's lemon shortbread. It's not as sugary as some things get in there. I'm sure one will do me just fine. And I'll deal with this better later. Okay, the air conditioner has to be on. It's very, very hot out there. It is like August instead of May. So it's the fan's on low. If it's too much and overwhelming the microphone, let me know. Okay. Lemonade, which is what I was after when I bought him. Okay, so I really, really like how this vessel came out. Although I learned, you know, a few things when doing it. I was going for as much texture as I could get out of it. And so I was merciless in the felting process. And it paid off. I got so much texture. The entire middle is just uniformly, although it's, you know, like random, it's not that random because of the way I placed everything. Everything just puckered exactly as I hoped. It's like, yeah. But the one thing I really wasn't sure how it was going to work was the gold. The gold is actual metal wrapped around a probably synthetic, but hopefully cotton thread. So I wasn't sure if it would stick at all. Wherever I treated it just like I would everything else is synthetic. It worked just fine. But some of it, the felt did not grab in between these almost microscopic spaces. So I'm going to try needle felting it in just to finish it up and keep it from easily being pulled like that. Took in the end, but yeah, I think that's going to be really, really tricky. You know what? I will stuff it again. Pile of towels, pile of towels, pile in the back of my chair. When they get wet, I drape them around the room and then collect them when they're dry. So this started out with a circle that big. So significant shrinking during the felting. I said that's what creates all of that cool texture. Okay, I don't know if this worked, so but we're gonna try it. I don't think it's gonna work. I can't actually even grab it because it's so slick. Go through, go to the other side. Being metal, it is taking the bending just fine. But I might have to put some more yarn down and needle felt this down that way. looks kind of cute sticking up. Like I said, any handling at length, you know, is going to cause problems. Now, I peeled one of these apart. That's how I found out what the core was, because I wanted to see what kind of felting it might do. And I was impressed. The metal, after I unwound it, first of all, it held its curl beautifully, because it really is some kind of a metal. Alright. If it's mylar, I'm amazed at its strength. But it did not tarnish. I got it wet. It sat on my studio table for at least a month with no change. So I thought, if it lasts, you know, holds up that well, we can try it in one of these. But I see that this is going to be an issue. I'm going to have to make sure the next project, when I try using this kind of gold, to put wool over it so the wool can hold it in place. Wherever it's tamped down, this is like really cool because we've got some of the viscose to go over it and the wool from underneath it. It just knitted it perfectly, and you can still see the gold and the shape of it. Now, if you were here yesterday when I was making this, you'll remember when I laid down the gold, it was like in concentric circle. I mean, just, you know, a spiral. And it didn't have all these kinks in it, and it definitely did not have any of these curls in it. All of that happened during the felting. The nice thing about this is it's so stiff on its own because it was so well felted. It does not need any starch. It's keeping the shape as intended. It healed really easily. We were testing the new black wool that I just got in from China, and it was very nice. It worked very nicely. Now this one, I had an odd shape, which is kind of obvious in the way it came out. Also felted really cool. Stuffed it, made it so it stands up on its own. Again, over felting, I got the best texture and no need for starch. Now this one, I used filler for the first layer on the inside because I knew it would be really stiff, and it's not the kind of wool you want on your skin. But I used softer wool on the outside. But still, it's Corriedale, it's not the fine merino. This, the fine merino, you can feel how much softer it is to the touch. So from now on, no matter what I use as a filler, we're going to make sure the touch layer is always fine merino. And when I say fine, I'm talking 19 to 21 micron thick, which felts really nicely. Okay, so this is cute, but kind of a, what do you do with it? I don't know. People love vessels. I love vessels. For a while I had a box collection, but boxes are bulky and they take up a lot of space really fast. So after a couple of music boxes and a couple of cookie boxes, it was like, I'm going to have to change my hobbies or collections because this is not going to work. Now this is a better size, and we're going to use that because we're going to try and fix this. If I can, I can. If I can't, well, I'm glad I just got some new, fresh black wool. This did not felt, or I should say, felt it so badly that I thought I was messing with synthetic again, and I'm still not absolutely certain, but some of it felted nicely. A little bit of it felted, so we're going to try and rescue it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you see some of it that felted really nicely right here. It sucks. Oh, I packed the black away. Okay. We're gonna have to fix this. This is definitely different from what I just bought. So, let's see what we got. But first, let's finish dealing with these. We have, now this is fairly soft, although the felting did bring it down in size. That's cute. These things look so cool, lit up with little teeny seed lights or a LED votive candle kind of thing. Yeah, I can't really see, but it's nicely felted. It stands perfectly, and the colors are gorgeous. And this one's a little chancier. I might have to, I might end up having to starch it, but not today. I don't feel like playing with starch today. I've already took care of other stuff here, like trying to catch up with some cleaning, all that fun stuff. I want my vase back. I've got all these flowers just sitting around. Going, where's my vase? You don't belong here. Now, this is hemp, very strong. It's occurred to me to use it in the construction of a larger bag, but really just using it for texture as far as appearance is concerned, and just use it to make sure that nothing can fall through the bag. Well, that does have an aquarium kind of a feel to it. I don't think I'm going to shrink that anymore. we'll see how it does over the next few days of relaxing. If it relaxes too much, I might redo it on this, which would make it a bit taller, but I might be able to felt it enough so it stays. But we're doing pretty good right now. This is nice and strong. So I will test that out overnight. That just means that I go ahead and put lights inside it and see what it looks like in the dark. So I'm going to move these and remove this and give me some room to work. Okay, how about some tea? That works now. Just turn it upside down, backward. I have to be careful around here. I'm always knocking things over. So I'm trying to clear the back shelf behind me. Before I lose something important. Okay, and oh, I really like how these came out. I don't know who they're going to go to though. All right, let's get ready for a large amount of water to be all over my desk. It looks like I better go get more water. Yes, I need more water. Okay. Well, first we need the towel. Yeah, this is a new challenge. Because this feels like it's merino. It is so nice and soft, and look at the staple length. have enough. What I'm trying to do is get this so I can flip it over. Let's just make sure we've got some anchors. Especially in the corner here. Now this water is fairly cool. I do not want anything felting before I'm ready. Like that. Now we're looking at the inside of the purse. And I see all kinds of things that I need to make sure get properly felted. No, and this is not. And we're going to be putting more wool on. Where's my hand towel? Oh. So uncooperative. Sorry, that's what I was trying to avoid. Having it so close.
Thin. Fortunately, I have that matching color right here. Oh, looking for the rag that's on my lap. Midnight Blue and Fine Merino. I have a, looks like a tear there. Must be getting too rough with my stuff.
It is time to make more soap water. I will let those bubbles entertain you while I go get some water and soap. Now I only use purified water in the processing of anything because I don't want to add polluted stuff to my loving stuff. Now this is very warm because it's left over from making tea. Go, come on. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to throw a little bit of black across here so it all matches. Well, I could put some blue going into the black. Yeah, we'll go that way. Oh. My hands are too damp. Cut end. Okay, I am going to let this rest for a few minutes. I'm going to eat another cookie. Now, I'm going to do some intense felting on it to see if I can get it to, number one, shrink like crazy. At first I wanted just a nice smooth bag, which is kind of minimal felting, but not enough strength in that. So we're going for a little bit more strength and texture at the same time. But first a cookie. Now I'm glad I didn't put them away. So it is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, East Coast time. Some of you may just be waking up. Oh, you may be ready for bed. So how are you today? I hope you're having a good day. Okay, we have all kinds of stuff over here getting piled up. It happens within moments. I'm trying to stay organized. When you have this many art supplies, you have to. There we go. I did not have time to find my template material. The ones I made so far, but I need something bigger, like that. It might end up getting turned into a template, but I'm hoping to save it for a nice strong bag. Little black tail there, little T here. Looking like a nice cup of tea. Or coffee. I like this heavier plastic. I got this as packing material in something I received. And it's stronger and not perforated every 6 inches. So I also like that about it. But it is not as good for rolling. So we're going to reserve that for building. And we've used this smaller stuff, lighter weight, for the rolling, but it's not ready for rolling yet. I'm just letting it rest. Let the fibers get to know each other, hydrate, and in fact that should be hydrated too. So I like the softer stuff. It won't be as strong, and I'm going to go through all of this and invest my time, even if the materials aren't, you know, especially expensive. The time would make it so if I was selling this stuff, which I'm not. Although I suppose at some point I'm probably going to want to get reimbursed for some materials if I make something for someone. But that has not arisen yet. Now the next project, after I catch up on a couple of these here, I am making a matched set. And those are gifts. Well, everything I make is either for myself or a gift, so. But I don't usually do a matched set of anything, but that's what I'm doing this time. And I want to get them done because their anniversary already passed, and I want them to be in possession of these things before Halloween, our favorite season. Now the first minutes are very gentle. And so the fibers are just introducing themselves to each other. This was already felted, but not adequately, apparently. I didn't like the end result. That's why we're doing this. See if we can salvage it, or if I have to start over. All of this actually began with the effort to make a flap, so a button or latch would not be needed, and I didn't do so great with the measurements, but it'll be a whole different thing after this is more heavily felted and this is not. So I'm thinking that they can catch up to each other. Back in place. Now all this is new wool at the bottom over the stuff that did not felt properly. And the reason we're doing this. And apparently there's some water on the outside of this, making this become soapy. I'm not using this for the soap properties, I'm using it for the texture. That will help felt this. ideally all of this will felt together because I want to attach a bunch of silk tassels and one on the tip there. Okay, we're going to start squeezing the water out. Someone sent me a message. Miriam, I can't talk to you right now on chat, but if you're here, I will answer you when I'm done with this show. this is still preliminary felting. When we get down and dirty, we're going to start using the sticks. Okay, we need to get a little of the water out of there. Dry. Mind you, we're still inside out here. Looking at the inside of the purse. All right. Now you know why I use a big towel for this. Now I've seen people make less of a mess than I do, honestly. I get enthusiastic with my suds. But I, so far, have been liking the end results, so I guess I'm doing okay. My hairs. There's something from YouTube. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Is that you out there, Tree? I appreciate that. Now, I'm not intentionally teaching because I'm still learning, but as I'm learning, other people can pick up things here and there. End. That's the new wool I added today in an effort to heal what seems like a non-felting situation. I don't know how well we're doing. I said this may be a full-on fail. Didn't get much sleep. I did a little better last night, but it was 77 degrees in my bedroom. And I am heat sensitive because of the blooding, so I did not sleep well. The night before was really bad, but I'm doing a little better today. Just a little off today. I went downstairs to mail something and stopped to talk to the people getting out of the group. It's an exercise day, but exercise I can't do. And I felt a little weird, like dizzy, so I just wanted to come back upstairs and sit down, and then I reflected, like, did I have much in carbs? I didn't have any carbs to start the day, which is not a big deal normally because I don't do much carbs, but if I start to feel like really weak or anything like that, it's like, oh no. So when is she supposed to move downstairs? Any idea? I'm not seeing the shrinkage I should be seeing. That's what I'm wondering about this wool. I will keep trying. It does take a while to get serious felting with fine merino because it's only 19 microns. It doesn't bulk up the way the filler kinds of stuff do. Not sure. It's good that they approved it. I guess they just have to wait until there's room, or if somebody moves out and they can, you know, do the usual maintenance before they let somebody else move in. Okay, so who do you want to move in? Who do you want to see move in across from you? Cat lover. Can't be allergic to cats. Okay, someone sober. Someone with a car and into gardening like you are. Yeah, I can think of lots of things that'd be desirable traits of a new neighbor. I hope you're coming up with even more. Wow. Well, I guess with all her roaches and all that, nobody's going to go in and steal anything. That's nerve-wracking. We have, in the building, we have not enough people, but we do have at least one or two people who care and are alert to all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, now I think we're starting to see a little movement here. But this is still not looking good in this corner. And I got now that black wool that I got yesterday felted like almost instantly. It was just amazing. And if I have to do this over, that's the black I'll be using. Not this strange wool. And again, this is why I'm no longer ordering wool on Temu. Even though I've had a few deals, I've also had more screw-ups and stuff that's made me go, oh, really? I waited all this time for this? So no more shopping to make other people millionaires. I'll be shopping locally. Oh, good, we're getting some good. I wanted this to be asymmetrical, you know, a more creative look to it. I like waves and all that. That's better. But this is not okay, so let's see what I can do. Oh, and 3 in the morning. 3 in the frickin' morning. She wakes you up. This is the crazy lady across the street that's moving. Why am I not seeing the chat scroll on my screen here? I see what I've tapped in, but I don't see anything that you've written. Ah, there you are now. Okay. What the hell was that all about? Wow, Maui. I would say something because they will act a little faster if the neighbors start bitching about those things. She probably really doesn't need to go to another apartment. She needs to be transferred to a convalescent care kind of a situation. Because she's not getting better. And she's not going to get better. Yeah, this is messy right here. This is not how it should be. And you know, ultimately, they can end up in a much better situation. We had a neighbor. She was really stupid and annoying. I can't say I genuinely enjoyed having to bump into her. She was one of those people that was always looking for something negative to say about something. But she was really ignorant. I found out that she thought it was cooking, but she never ever used anything more than salt or pepper. She had a passel of kids and raised them that way. She had some hobbies. She was actually good at crocheting, but she was just like an unpleasant kind of a person. So what happened was she was having more and more problems walking, and after a couple of falls, she ended up going into convalescence. But from there, it was like she ain't coming back here. She went to a different place altogether, and it turns out for the best for everybody. We're happier, and she's happier. It's a better situation for her. She's got the kind of care she can use. There are, I guess, more people like her. So all's well that ends well. Well, if she had a home health aide, that wouldn't exist. They would make sure the place was fumigated, it was clean, etc. That's what a home health aide is supposed to be helping with, not just a nurse. Nurses just take care of their they take their vitals. You have to have an aide that's going to wash you and clean your kitchen and that kind of thing. They're very different. The nurse does the blood draws, you know, checks that kind of thing. Okay. I'm going to start from this end this time and see if I can get that to link it down. Now, I have neighbors here with wheelchairs that have to plug in, but they don't plug in directly to the wall. They have a little box that gets plugged in, and they plug into that box. Now, there's scooters. So a few people have scooters. Matter of fact, my neighbor got one from Temu. And it's exactly as described. That plugs directly into the wall. But it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a good wheelchair. It's just a little scooter with a basket so she can get around because she can't walk anymore. And she has an aide that does her laundry and cleans and takes care of her. And she comes over, I think 3 times a week, something like that. The only one who could make her get rid of stuff would be management. We had a hoarding situation here with a guy that can't get rid of. They can't get rid of him because there's no place else for him to go, literally. He's completely poor, he's not here. Alright, this is the guy that walks everywhere. And when I say walks everywhere, we see him, he will not take a ride unless it's actually like drenching rain. He will not accept a ride back or forth to anywhere. People here have offered to pick him up from the street, especially in bad weather, because he's just he's skinnier and smaller than me, okay? Little dude, deaf as a post. And he's a hoarder, and apparently the situation arose where he was hoarding food, he was hoarding I don't know what else, but it was dirty, it had roaches, and the management said, no, roaches go into other apartments, they don't stay in one, so we're getting rid of this stuff. And they made it clear that, well, we might not be able to kick you out to the street. We will start looking for another place for you to go, though, if you do not open up the door and let us in. And he still was like, because he wanted nothing to do with anybody. And they had to go in. They went in, they brought in a cleaning crew, got some stuff out of there, and of course, fumigated. Because the last thing you need is something like an outbreak of bed bugs, for example. Must be a religion pilgrimage. What, with him walking? No, he carries a grocery bag and he walks the miles to Walmart and back. Walmart, he does all, I don't even know what the hell he buys because it's not like he's got money. And he's another really poor dude. And is far from homeless. So they don't put him out in the street, but they had to take control for the sake of the building. Nobody wants bugs. And that's when they started like, alright, because some people felt singled out because they were pigs. Instead of doing that, they just made it like, alright, we're going to be doing this to every single apartment, whether you like it or not, we're going to be coming in. You don't have to be home, but if you have a pet, lock up the pet. It's like, we're done. And I feel for this guy, we always make sure, like, bingo nights, we bring in food. Anybody who can cooks, bakes, brings it down so people can eat. And he does not play bingo or anything except solitaire by himself. But the old ladies make sure he's got a plate of food all the time. So he can at least eat, because he just doesn't, he won't cook for himself or anything like that. But for some reason he supports the food. And people get into their own heads somewhere along the line and they never come out. Obviously, mental health issue. 50 years ago, he would have been put in a state hospital and locked up for life. had one of those here. Most of it is gone now, but there is the occasional old building, and there's a whole underground. There was an underground tunnels connected the buildings that are spread out in the country. The underground tunnels were so they could transport patients without exposing them to winter, because here in New England, you could be talking about feet of snow that you'd have to try and shovel and get your patients to different places, like for an x-ray. So they built these underground tunnels, and that's where they handle all the electrical works and stuff like that. So those tunnels are still around, and they're still powered. I don't remember the reason why. I think they're plugged into a part of another system that can't be unplugged. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But because it's what's left is old, they have all kinds of haunted house kinds of stories for them. After all, there was a loony bin, you know? It was a state asylum, a state hospital. I was actually living in this town when they closed the main one and threw all the patients out on the street. Literally. There you go. They were walking down the street, not having a clue what to do, with the clothes on their back and a bottle of pills to get them through the next 30 days. Good luck. I know you lived here for years, and you've not even seen the light of day most days. But now you're on your own. Congratulations, you just graduated. That was such a sad and depressing time for people. And scary. All these people, you know, had been committed either by themselves or by the state for different reasons. You didn't know who you were bumping into once they were sent out. It wasn't like they got transferred to another facility. They just got sent out on the street. Shit like this happens all the time. People just don't realize it. That's why we have to make some really sweeping changes for this country. Like right now we have egomaniac Elon Musk. The man is bona fide crazy, alright? And he's never had an original thought. I don't care what his AI says. He's not original at all. He's a science fiction person, and he's been affected by what he watched in movies and what few books he's actually read. But he is endangering. You remember when Trump just suddenly destroyed our satellite, a multi-billion-dollar satellite we put up there to monitor climate change and CO2 and all that globally? When Trump got in, the first thing he did was kill it. Turn it off. Because Musk already had a plan to do that. I think it was being called the Great Golden Dome or something like that, because you know how golden Trump, he'll do anything for gold. The problem is that what he wants to do is put like 1 million satellites up there, which will destroy the ozone layer. It's a very serious, obviously, issue, because the ozone layer is what protects us from solar storms and the magnetic fields that basically could destroy our entire atmosphere. I mean, just ionize it and dissipate it. It could rip it away. And they're playing with fire to make themselves very rich and have global control of all data. It's like they know that the data centers down here, people aren't going to like them. And when they see what kind of resources they use and they take away from the people, oh, those things are going to start going up in smoke. Nobody wants a data center in their neighborhood. It's killing people. It's polluting, etc., etc., using up the local water and electric. They're going to have to create nuclear plants just to power their stupid data centers. So obviously it's a really, really bad thing for the environment and for anybody nearby. And they're doing this in places where they can't afford the water. Texas, Utah. It's like, are you crazy? You don't have enough fresh water to take care of your own people for the next 10 years, and you're going to give it all, which is what is going to come down to these rich assholes. Anyway, if Musk isn't stopped from launching all of those satellites, we may as well kiss this planet goodbye. I mean, the billionaire's plan was go ahead and populate the moon, populate Mars, get the hell off Earth, because we're going to just farm it for everything we can get out of it, and then who cares about the people? It's all automated. But we have time, not a lot, but we have time to stop this. But there's so much we have to undo. We really, really seriously need progressives in office. I think this is starting to felt up, but the parts that I need most felt in are not doing what I want. I'd hate to have to start this all over. I hate wasting material, especially having to wait for it for so long. It'll be there in 3 weeks. Oh, great. I'm enthusiastic now. Okay, how are we doing? That seems to be healing well. This is what worries me. I don't want a pocketbook where everything falls to the bottom. Nope, it's not wanting to felt up. Has he had his iPad workout yet? Great cat. He's just a young cat, honey. The problem is that you have a very small environment for him, and he's a wild cat. I mean, all little cats are big cats in disguise. They like high spots to hide in and watch over the whole place. So the higher you can make something for him, the better. Now, if I moved in here with a living cat, not a robot cat, I would have done things differently here. I know how much they need exercise and how much they challenge themselves. And I've already gone through I have 7-foot tall bookshelves, and the cat always wants to be on the top of that bookshelf. But when they're feeling rambunctious, they like to knock things off that shelf. So what I like now is people setting up things on the wall using, lengths of wood and molding. So it's like steps. Some of them are covered with sisal rope. Some of them are covered with carpeting. They can climb, but they realize, you train them basically very easily. Like, this is where you can scratch. This is where you can sleep. This is where you can run. around the room without touching the floor. They like to play the floor is lava. Probably because your neighbor was crazy at 3 in the morning. But yeah, and before I put bookshelves up, I would have created every room except the kitchen and bathroom, obviously. Well, okay, I've got a little vestibule area, so I would have the entire living room, vestibule area into the bedroom. I would have cat shelves. I love some of these cat lovers who do videos here on YouTube about their creative indoor environments. It's so inspiring. Like I said, I don't have a living cat, and my robot cat died. So, it's a moot point to me. Now I just have bookshelves, stuff hanging on the walls. Okay, that is not. I am not seeing what I want to see. This is not a good thing. I'm getting some felting here, but this newer stuff is like totally reluctant. That's why I'm still wondering if it's real wool. I know the new black wool would have felted by now. I mean, that felted in my fingers like in seconds. And this is like, we've been rolling and rolling and I'm not seeing any adhesion. By the way, today's your birthday. Oh! Well, you know what happens on your birthday here. I don't have a reminder for you for some reason. I wonder why. You made it, man. Congratulations. The birthday is official. Oh, good, you give him your same birthday. Okay, well, for both of you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Maui and Cyrus. Happy birthday to you, and many more. Okay. 66. Oh, you don't, yeah, you don't look 60 anything. If you dyed your facial hair, you could probably pass for 45. You look very young. There's nothing we can do really about the gray, but with men at least they see gray as distinguished, mature. Women, it's just, you're old. Like Synthargus in the first Nomara story. She got one tiny crack of a hairline wrinkle in the corner of an eye on her 100th birthday and went berserk. Her obsession became finding a non-magical anti-wrinkle cream or potion, but not magical. It had to be natural. And, you know, the fact that you're still breathing is already a great positive. You woke up today. Even if it wasn't the best of circumstances, you did wake up. You're gonna take yourself for ice cream, you said? Yeah. I finally finished that pint of Haagen-Dazs. I had it for like 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I mean, almost 2 months at least. It was like, okay, I have to finish this because it's just going to evaporate in the freezer. I even had plastic inside it to stop the crystallization because it takes me so long to eat ice cream most of the time. You know, lactose intolerant, dairy's not, well, ice cream is not all that healthy, but I do like the occasional treat. Vanilla ice cream with chocolate chips I throw in myself. I do like ice cream. I get the mood for it, you know, and then I indulge that day or that night or whatever, and then, I don't know, sometimes, like I said, I'll go 6 weeks before I feel like having ice cream again. Although I did have one. Richard told me about it, and I knew that it was his favorite. I was happy to buy it if he was visiting and wanted it, which he didn't want, but I never ate it. And then finally one day I thought, you know what the hell, it's on sale, I'll buy the one he gets. Chocolate fudge brownie, something like that. And I thought, the way I make 1 pint into 4 servings, at least 4 servings, I thought this is going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be very rich. I took 1 mouthful and then another mouthful, and I did in that whole thing in 2 days. I mean, I ate half of it and I had to stop myself from eating. It was so good. It just had this chewy texture to the brownie because it had been frozen cake, I guess. Whatever it was really good. But now, a lot of the ice cream on the market is bad. A lot of it's not even really ice cream. And they're adding things that we definitely don't want. Corn syrup and fake sweeteners and fake everything. It's like, no, you know what? I can make my own fresh ice cream in minutes. And once I discovered that, it was goodbye ice cream as a regular thing. You just need some heavy cream and some flavoring. I discovered that a packet of hot cocoa, like the dark chocolate one, or I had at the on hand when I discovered it was actually Starbucks hot cocoa that had ground chocolate in it and little bits of chocolate in it. It was like a triple chocolate thing. I put a half a packet of that into 1 pint of heavy cream, and I whipped it up into whipped cream. Actually, I did the whipped cream first. We had that for Thanksgiving on pumpkin pie, and then I didn't have any use for the whipped cream, so it was starting to go flat, you know. So I said, well, I'm not going to waste all of this. So I added the hot cocoa mix, whipped it back up, put plastic over the top, touching it, and put it in the freezer. An hour and a half later, I had chocolate ice cream that you could not tell from a really good brand of chocolate ice cream. It was so perfectly creamy, so good, the taste was great, and 0 added chemicals. And after that, excuse me, it was like, there is no sense, instead of buying a $5 or $6 container of ice cream, buy what you want to put in the ice cream and some cream and just whip it up yourself. It doesn't take long. I mean, it just, seriously, it does not take long. I've made whipped cream out of half and half using my little vibrating thing in my cup. So when I want, Fridays when I go and have a cup of coffee with the ladies, I don't have them do the K-cup because I don't want the plastic in my coffee. But I make my cup of coffee up here. I whip up some half and half, and this time I whipped it up and I threw in some chocolate, ground up chocolate on top of it, and I made myself a mocha. It was better than the restaurants could make, and I knew exactly what was in it. It's become more and more important to know exactly what you're eating as people try to take that control away from us. We don't want you to know because we need you to buy it. We can't stay rich if you don't buy our shit. So what are you going to do to set the coming year? What kind of intentions are you going to set on your birthday? I always use my birthday kind of like the first day of school. A little melancholy, go over the past a little bit. I do that less and less. But the big focus, just like New Year's Eve, is what do I want to do in the coming year? And then I try and do it right then and there to kind of cement, like, this is the direction we're going to go. So when I want a productive year in writing, I make sure I sit down and write something on that day. All right, we're felting up nicely on the outside. We're not felting well here at all. We'll just keep trying. I believe whatever you end up doing, like when you're going to bed at night, what you're thinking about is going to shape your next day. What you think about for your birthday, it kind of shapes your next year. So you want to focus on having a good time, staying positive, thinking good things. Now I'm using the plastic to kind of keep the wool all along this line, since it doesn't really want to hold together yet. But I'm really happy to see this texture starting to develop here. So that's more like what we want. I'm going to need to take a break from this one. How long have I been on? Oh, no wonder, it's almost 2 hours. Well, actually about an hour on this, because the first hour we were doing all this stuff that finishing up what I did yesterday. And then clearing it so I could work on this sucker. I'm trying to catch up with projects so I can move on to make a matched set for my dear son. I think my birthday is a holiday, and I have never enjoyed sharing my birthday on that holiday because it's the holiday for alcoholics. St. Patrick's Day, it's like, yeah, let's get drunk and wasted and forget where we are. Ah, yay. It has never been really my mentality, even when I was young and wild. Well, that sounds good. What flavor do you think you're going to go for? What are your favorite flavors? It's a little early for your ice cream, so I know we can talk about it. See, you should be proud about your age because you don't look anything like it. You have a face of someone who looks like they're going to look youthful forever. Which was probably a pain in the ass when you were young. And man, look at the people around us. They're so much older and they're still going. They're not all like your neighbor across the hall. One lady, I really like her, but I think this last year has been very hard on her. She developed macular degeneration, you know, where you lose your vision from the center outward. And she was a voracious reader and also self-sufficient, like driving, and she had to give up her car. She can't read. and I can see that it's already bringing her spirit down too much. She's like 91 or 3, something like that. We've got a few people that are in their 90s here, and still very active. But it seems like you hit 91, they're fine at 90, and then suddenly 91, they're having all these problems like, ugh. Strawberry, oh, of course. You have some fresh strawberries to throw in with that? I wish I'd been able to grow strawberries. We did have a few. Our landlord tried to plant some, but he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He put them basically on a clay hill where they just got attacked by things, and every wild beast in the area, it was like putting them on display for them, and there was no nutrition. It's like, he really wanted me to keep them alive. It's like, where are they? And he shows me these little things like, it's 101 degrees out here today. What do you think I'm going to be able to do with them? No shade at all. Even, I mean, literally no shade at any time of day for them, because the trees were too young. When we moved in, the trees were only 6 years old. That wasn't very tall. Yay, all right. So, tell me, how many sprout jars do you have going? Did I send you the video of that guy who invented the inserts? I think I was talking about it yesterday, because I love my pea greens. Well, I love all my greens. But my method is just a pain in the ass. I've got these wide trays, which is fine, but they're so shallow. They're just too shallow. 2. Yeah, 2's good. That's what I started with. For one person, that's pretty good. Have you grown any mung beans? Depending on where you are, they call them mung or mung. It's Chinese beans, you know, the sprouts that get nice and hearty white. They're best while they're still white. If you let them go ahead and grow leaves, the leaves are what makes it more bitter. But the white ends are sweet. I used to grow them for my mice. They loved them. And I'd grow them, I'd put a few in there, and I'd watch them pick one up, and they always pick it up by the leaves. And I thought, oh good, okay, you think they're gonna start eating the leaves, and they turn it around and they start on the roots. It's like the leaves they don't care about. They'll eat them I'm not giving them more fresh sprouts. But if I do give more fresh sprouts, they'll drop the leaves and just go back to the white parts. So I figure they know what they're doing. They're getting maximum nutrition. And I didn't understand it exactly back then. Now we know that when you get sprouts, they're healthier, you know, than the whole plant. But I love arugula sprouts and beet sprouts. And the beet sprouts are so pretty. They're magenta with green tops. Magenta, white, and green. They're just like, ah! They look like they're having a little party. And I want to do the broccoli, because I love broccoli. And the chemical that is most important in anti-cancer is what develops in your broccoli sprouts within the first 5 days or so. And it's also when they smell the worst. You really smell the sulforaphane, and that's the chemical you're going for. So they taste just like broccoli, but I like the sweeter side of broccoli. That's a tree. You have to grow a tree. It has to reach maturity before you can gather the flower buds, which are dried and turned into cloves. They grow in India, so they might grow in your environment. I don't know. But it would be an it, not a they, because you only have to grow 1 or 2 trees. You have to let it mature long enough for it to flower, so it could be years before you see anything. Yeah, those are little flower buds. And they're not particularly pleasant to handle in bulk. That's like doing fruit trees, you know? People don't realize that you're not going to get anything for the first few years, sometimes 5 years or longer, depending on the fruit. Avocados, years before you get fruit from your first avocado tree. Now, in fact, you don't want it to fruit in the first 3 years because it's not strong enough. What else was I looking into growing? Because I've been into, you know, sustaining my own self for most of my life. So yeah, I've looked into those things. I grew, or tried, let's say I tried some cherries. They didn't make it down south at all. I lost them in the first year. I planted a few apricot trees. One made it, but never got past, I don't know, about 12 feet tall, and it never got to fruit because we kept getting besieged by other problems down there, like grubs, Japanese beetles, the grubs of Japanese beetles. So I never saw a single apricot on that tree. I know when Tommy and I got our first, we decided instead of buying a regular Christmas tree one year that we were going to get a fruit tree, a citrus tree, so we can plant it in the yard. We ended up getting a tangelo. I think I really wanted like a navel orange, but what was available that looked nice and healthy for the price was a tangelo. The damn thing tried to fruit real early, but that's not a good sign. That means it's dying. It's doing a desperate bid to put out seed to survive. So it's not always what you think you're seeing. We managed to get it. We've got it through the season, and we planted it in the yard. And I think in the 2nd or 3rd year we got a fruit permit, and it was the nastiest, most bitter tangelo. Like, ugh. We could have just gone to the store and bought some. That would be better, especially since we're living in Southern California where they're all over the place. But he got into growing, which I was really happy about. But that's also when he really got into his Japanese obsession. We had neighbors across the street from us who were Japanese, and they had a garden out back of their place that was like paradise in the middle of the desert. You couldn't tell a thing from the street or anywhere from looking from the outside. It was so carefully created. It was like you could walk out there and be in shade of arbors that they had things growing on. They were remarkable, and Tommy just totally fell in love with them and started learning more about horticulture. His thing, when we got married, his thing was roses, And he was so into it, it was like, you know what, this is your baby, because it makes you remember in good ways your mother, who was big into gardening. Well, now as an older man, matter of fact, let me think for a second, he was 5 years younger than me, so I think he's your age. Yeah, I think he is, right? I'm 72. No, a little older than you. He's a wonderful gardener, and occasionally he sends me a photo of what's growing in his yard. And he did marry a Japanese woman, and he got what he wanted. But yeah, years to grow those suckers and get food out of them. Now, Hawaii, of course, you've got completely different agricultural restrictions than we have here. Like, one of the things that really grows well here are apples. Crab apples, any kind of apple. They like New England. Matter of fact, that's why New York is the big apple. And they are good for you. I like them cooked. Apples are not my favorite fruit. I crack up when I watch other people do the Stephen Colbert test. And I say apples or oranges, like, which is your favorite? It's oranges for me. They don't bruise as easily. You can carry them around for a while if you have to. I like that they come in their own little protective case. And I can eat them fresh instead of cooking. But apples I have to cook to make them pleasant to me. Occasionally I like a crunchy fresh one, but most of the time, no. Less so as I got older for some reason. When I was a little kid, I liked them. Oh, actually, I like them better than I do now. I know strawberries is your #1 fruit. Now, that was something we had plenty of in Southern California, because that's one of the national capitals of making strawberries happen for the country. Unfortunately, they're covered in pesticides. So strawberries are one thing you don't want to buy unless they're organic. Oh, you know what will make, I don't know if you can do it, actually, it might not be cool enough for you, but kiwi. There is a hairless kiwi. There's a golden kiwi. They're vines. As long as you have a male and a female, I think within 3 years you get fruit. Kind of like really good grapes. Concord grapes, all those, they need a few years to get established. At least 2. But in Hawaii, I would think that you should be able to glom onto something that's more local, that grows well and fast in your environment. I would hope. And you are not cooperating. Disappointing me. Not you, this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. We got a new subscriber today. And I am grateful. The other way. Yeah, see, it's doing exactly what I want up here. Down here. Down here's a sneer. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Well, that you can look up. That's information that's available online. Go to the agricultural department because they're real clear about rules about what you can bring to the mainland, what you can go from mainland to island. You might be able to have seeds or a plant actually shipped to you because they inspect it before they do that. So you might be able to. Did you have something in particular that you are interested in? Like a cone of coffee? Now they need cloud cover you don't ever get. Okay, let's try and reel this in. Make this so it can't go anywhere. You too. Alright. Give this another shot. You know what I really hate online are people who get too inventive with the pictures of things. They want like the monkey-faced flower or the cat-faced flower or orchid. It's like, yeah, a bit of an exaggeration, a little messing around with Photoshop, and you have people convinced that they can grow a crop of cat faces in their yard. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You have a lot of sun. If you have to water the way you have to water, rainforest stuff might not make it. It's like taking ferns, you know? I love these beautiful maidenhair ferns. And we had some growing in our backyard under the canopy. And I'd always wanted one of those, like in my house. But after trying one in my house, I realized that it needs so much humidity. At first they tell you when you want to buy it, right? Like, just mist it every day. Yeah, you may as well leave it in your bathroom. It needs that much misting all the time. So I just couldn't keep it wet enough. It was always like just drying out and just, you know, and maidenhair ferns, they're just so delicate to start with. It doesn't take much for them to dry out. So disappointing. But see, we had the woods out back with the creek going through it and little tributaries going through that, and it led to the river, and you had to go through game land. So I mean, it was really dense, nice, private, several hundred acres of it. So in the woods you could find all kinds of cool stuff, but it could not be transplanted to where we were because we were in the field. We had the lower 40. It was like nothing but sun every single day. All right, do it, man. Go, go, dance. Bring up your energy. I am going to break. I'm going to take some time to probably eat something or make sure I do eat something. I have rice that I saved specifically to make my rice crackers, and it's like until we're through Wednesday, the temperatures are going to be way up there. We had 88 degrees yesterday. We have, let me see what it is now, 86 right now. Okay, looks like 86 is the high for the day. Tomorrow 88, Wednesday 91. 91 and a thunderstorm. It doesn't go back to normal until Thursday. So it looks like Thursday might be my day to get out of here. Sun early, or mixed sun and clouds in the morning, and then rain at night. But it's only 68 for the high. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Oh no, 67 for the high. I love that. That's perfect for me. I'll take myself out. Yeah, Thursday my friends are going to be out of town. I see. But most of it is felting beautifully, just like I was hoping. But the new stuff is not. Okay, maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work a little bit. Wait a second, I got too much going on my phone here. Where are you? I'm gonna dance outside in the garden. It might rain here soon. Alright. But if you dance in the garden, and I don't want to discourage that, just remember who'll be watching. You might have a lot of women after you, after they catch you dancing, showing you have more energy. That you look like a stud muffin out there. We're getting what I want, except here. Now I have to wait until Thursday, Friday for rain, I guess. Who's watching me? Well, that's true. You might end up with a dance party. Keep them away from your vegetables. Have fun, man. It's your birthday. Celebrate. You made it this far. Been through all kinds of shit. Don't even think about that anymore. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. I used to go, oh, come on, how cliche, but it is the truth. What do you want to see happen in the coming year? Focus on it. Pretend it's already happening. See, I thought this part would be way more felted than it is right now. It's weird. I might need the cylindrical vibrator. Oh. Well, go have some fun, man. You've had your breakfast? I am going to let this sit, rest, and do lunch. I'm also going to hang this up to dry. Oops, I need to put the member for Congress back up. Free call to express your opinion, what you think the government is doing right now. Poor Mikey Johnson couldn't get the president's $1 billion from the taxpayers for his bunker/gold ballroom, and so he shut down Congress to see if he could get everybody back on board to give the president $1 billion for his gold fucking ballroom. Well, Maui, I want you to have a good time today. I don't want you to come to the end of the month looking for food money. Treat yourself, but treat wisely. Maybe this year you could only do a frozen yogurt. Maybe you can do both. But I would check my accounts so you don't feel guilty later and punish yourself in a weird way. Everybody is special. You are special, but that's got nothing to do with your budget. If you have to bum or mess with your own finances just to cover your ass, then it pays to be prudent. You're a very good cook now. You're learning more and more. You make good food for yourself. You could just go ahead, enjoy a leisurely breakfast at home, and then go out, the garden, your yogurt. All right, then if your debts are paid and you're caught up, then go for it. Never pay more than you can afford. This is not the time to be messing with that, with the government trying to get rid of us. Please. But if you can do it, go and enjoy it to the fullest. Even take pictures of it. I am all for celebrations, and especially if they include food. I love food. So I'll be back in an hour or two. I gotta do a few things around here. What time is it now? Almost 3? Oh, 2:30. I'll be back before 4:20 and after 4:20.